The delusion that builds empires. If you look at some of the world's greatest founders, entrepreneurs, and inventors, they had a sense of delusion that built that empire, right? If you look at Steve Jobs' quote, right? The people who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who usually do. Obviously, Steve Jobs would say something as crazy as that, right? The Steve Jobs, the guy from Apple. Yet this maxim holds true in every single, founder or great entrepreneur or business person or founder or athlete or musician that you'll ever read about. It's this delusional sense of, I know I'm gonna make it and I'm the exception, right? As an example, when something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are stacked against you. That's Elon Musk. There's nothing impossible to he who will try. Alexander the Great. I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work, right? Everyone knows that. Thomas Edison. If you can dream it, you can do it. Walt Disney, right? This is just examples that showcase what it takes to become one of the greats, right? It's this delusion that you will make it happen. When you really think about it, the only difference between those who do and those who don't is the belief, right? Because belief comes before action or results, right? Because you can't obtain the results or really do action and do the thing if you can't believe you can do it in the first place. So it needs to become before results or before taking action to a large degree, right? Most people never even start. They don't fail because they have lack of talent or knowledge, or they don't have this one resource or thing. No, it's a lack of resourcefulness. It's not a lack of resources that's holding us back, right? All right, so we are busy optimizing the funnel for the sales funnel that comes from the ad. I'm here with Andrew, and I want him to give you guys some feedback on how the ads are currently doing. You guys will see a bit of a look as to what ads we're actually running in the first place.
So keep in mind, this is our very first live event, so we're going to improve so much on the upcoming events. So we got 2 ads running. We're spending 25K on each. That's in Rand, so it's around $2,500, you could say. This ad is a different one. This is for our sales calls for the info product as we are still, getting ready for the event. So we can go into some metrics. Let's just go into this one first. If you haven't watched this ad, highly recommend you do. So these are some numbers. So we got close to 250,000 views. And these are all local ads, so from South Africa. Therefore, it's a lot cheaper, okay? But also, you kind of, have a trade-off because the purchasing power is a bit less from South Africa. You go to ad, 250K views, you can just say. You can also check like the 3-second plays, which is like the hook, right? So it's a pretty strong hook. And then, link clicks, website visits. So we're getting just under R1 per website visit. So the website they're going to is our free school community, okay? They go to this is essentially the website that they go to. Once they watch this ad, underneath here is going to be like, if they watch this, there's going to be a link down here, to learn more, and they get redirected to this. They can watch this video as well as like a VSL, maybe read that, and then they can join the group. We've been growing pretty quickly, like it's insane. Look at so you'll see we gained an extra 1,300 people in the last 30 days.
And we're only 6,500 members. So that's like, do the math. It's a lot. It's more than 10%. It's a lot more than 10%.
It's like 20% joined in the last 30 days. Yeah. But also, you can also see, where did I check that the last 7 days? I'm not sure where that was. But I put it on my story where like the last 30 days, we grew at 1,200 members. And in the last 7 days, it was 700. So more than half of the people who joined in the last 30 days is from the last 7 days, which is basically the ad, which is coming from the ad. Okay.
So we're growing the community and we're essentially getting people in the sales funnel, which is the beauty of this ad.
Yeah. So this is basically just to get exposure. These are 2 ads. This one's performing pretty well actually, if you go to the insights.
It's actually the best one, but
it's zero editing. It's zero editing. But literally film this in like a minute, 2 minutes. And you'll see it's like a fifth of the price per website visit. So this website is a bit different, okay? So they're going to this website, watching this video, and then filling out this form. We got a lot of back-end data on this form, which is pretty cool. But this is just to, generate.
What's this to do?
This is to generate sales calls while we essentially prepare for the event.
And the beauty of ads, and especially if you do it correctly, is there's a lot of data. So now we can see we put a lot of money behind high-quality editing, and we realized that the best ad was literally Andrew filming with his phone, like in his room, with no editing. We just posted it on the spot.
I want to mention something. So how we essentially got this ad to perform so well is we used AI to essentially, as you can see, like I kind of switched up my content where it was just like, me talking to the camera. And this is my first video that I did in this style. And look at the views, 170,000 views. This is all organically, by the way. Like no paid advertising went into. I didn't boost it. You can see I didn't boost it. All organic. And what I did is I literally copied this exact word for word. I put this video into ChatGPT and asked for the transcript, and I basically just read that transcript on this video. So it's already proven with the hook, and it got a lot of views. And now we're boosting this on top of that. You can see currently boosted. So as an ad, essentially.
That's a cool thing. So Alex Hormozi speaks about that, right? You essentially use like tiers to filter through good ads. So you post a lot of organic content, and then you can see which posts perform well, and then you just repurpose that into ads. And then you see which ads perform even better with money behind it, which is just paid ads, right? And then you just kill all the ones that aren't performing and just reinforcing with money the ones that do. So we're not doing too much volume as of right now. We're going to be pivoting into building out a studio and whatever. We'll keep watching for the next vlog where I'm going to be speaking about the studio we're building. But essentially, we are currently doing like 2-3 ads a month. We want to be doing 3 to 4 ads a week. So it's a completely different ball game, but we're not there right now. Yeah, this is what you can expect. Link in bio for the event. How many slides is this?
500.
500 slides. So it just goes to show, like I previously mentioned, right? This is our first ever event. Others mentioned as well. But we believe that our product will sell itself. And in the beginning, we don't have anything to compare it with. We don't have a different event to compare it with, different ads or anything. So we just looked at the competitors and in the market space. And then essentially just copied that, what worked, put our own spin on it for our own ICP as well. And it's just going to be better and better and better the more we do. So very excited to see how this pans out. So I spoke with an old friend today, and I only really realized how much has changed when I started looking back, right? Day to day, it doesn't really feel like there's any progress being made, right? Because you're in the midst of the thing. As of right now, we just spent 50,000 Rand on ads. We've worked 2 months to get to a point where we are right now, and we're betting all of that on making R1 million in one day, right? For the event that we are running or launching on the 27th of October, right? So we are in the midst of this thing, and so it doesn't really feel like anything is happening. You get like glimpses of when when the ads go live, or when this happens, or that, whatever. But it doesn't really feel like the friend that I met up with right now. We haven't seen each other like a year and 6 months, right? It's actually an old colleague of mine, which I have a lot of respect for. He was actually one of my very first sort of mentors, right, in my previous job that I had, and I have a lot of respect for this guy. And he's actually fairly older than me as well. And, just having conversation with him again. And when I was speaking, and this happens when you speak with older friends, right? Or people that, you've known a little while, right? I can vaguely remember feeling and reliving my old version when I knew him, right? And, it wasn't that long ago, right? Like, I don't know. It's just crazy to see like how much progression we actually have made. When you're in the thick of it, you don't really realize what's happening. But looking back, he obviously brought up some topics that we spoke about last when we saw each other, and realizing like, wow, was this a year and 6 months ago? Like, and so what I'm trying to say is one tends to become blind in the moment of taking action. And I don't necessarily think that's a good thing. Because it might withhold you from taking action if you don't give yourself permission to celebrate the fruits every now and then. I get it, delayed gratification, move on, but you have to at some point take in the moment, right? Because everything is the journey. Whether or not I realize it or not, I'm still taking action, right? But I think it's beneficial to stop and smell the roses every now and then. And so, yeah, it was just a cool feeling looking back at things, and really taking some time today to just take it all in. And actually, a lot of good ideas came up today. I really sat down. I am, reframing all the vlogs. So moving forward, it's going to look a lot different. The rebranding on the podcast, rebranding my personal brand as well. Just everything. It's like all these thoughts are just coming to me just because I'm giving myself more time to think, right? This is a long-term play, building this business. And so I'm sleeping more. I've decided, you know what? I'm going to sacrifice 5% of optimization each day for more sleep and more enjoyment so that I can do this for the rest of my life. I'm not in this to make quick money for the next 10 years. I'm playing this game till I die. And I love this game. And so enjoy it while you're playing it, right? I'm sleeping more now. I'm exercising. I'm walking every day. I'm eating healthier. I am spending more time with my friends and family. And then everything else is business. And so I'm not feeling like I'm burning out. Because what I used to do is just work the whole day, sacrifice everything for a month, monk mode or whatever. I just feel dead. And I started hating the business, started not really love what I'm doing. Now I'm just, I'm working 6 very hard hours every day. And that's that. Absolutely loving every moment of it. And because I know this is a long-term play. Anyways, felt like sharing that. So we're going to go live with the ads of the event now this week. So Jordan, I think you're vaguely familiar with what we're doing. We're running an event in the 27th of October. So the main thing is, I want to know is, how do we go about with the current funnel? Because we are booking calls right now, but all the call to actions are going to go to schedule a booking for the event. So are we like sort of stopping the calls and then essentially just condensing all the calls to that 2 weeks? And then Jordan takes a ton of calls in those 2 weeks. So every single piece of front-end marketing is running them to book a seat for the event.
Well, to join the school community.
Yeah. Well, essentially then going to book a school.
Yeah.
Event, right? So there's no ad that we are continuing booking calls right now.
No, because like that YouTube video that's still gonna run in the background after the event, it's gonna act as like a booking link as well.
So but just for these 3 weeks, we're not booking any calls then essentially, unless
through the setting now.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. I didn't actually realize that. But I mean, it's essentially we are just we are condensing all the people to one time, right?
No, you don't want to split attention.
Yeah.
You just want one main thing.
Okay, so Jordan, that might be something to keep into mind. So essentially what we're gonna do is when the event is live, those 2 weeks are gonna be ruthless. It's gonna be very hectic because I think we're gonna be booking a lot of calls after that. Like the main call to action is going to be closing them on the call, but we get 2% of our total sales, 2 to 3% is gonna be on the call close. The other 3 to 4% apparently will be closed on calls the 2 weeks afterwards. That's what the metrics apparently.
Yeah. So just when that event goes live, you just need to set your calendar where you can book like 2 weeks up front.
Okay.
Yeah. So the show up rate might be a bit less, but obviously we would probably need like, well, now that I think about it, Iman only had one closer for that event. So yeah, one is fine. So we're spending all this money on ads and obviously building our very first live event. The first question comes to your mind. It's like, okay, do you have any experience with this stuff? Like, do you know what you are doing, whatever? It's like, no, we do not know what we are doing, right? But that is exactly why we need to do it. Everybody has this thought or this idea of like, or not idea, like a fear and doubt. It's that, okay, I've never done it before, and then you start thinking of like all the things that could go wrong, spending all this money and I can lose everything, the event can flop, like all this stuff because you have no prior experience to it, right? But that is the definition of entrepreneurship or having faith. It's taking action despite not having any results, right? How can you have confidence in something if you've not had previous experience in that, right? You could use the confidence you have in different domains. And the beauty of what Andre and I are building here is we've proven to ourselves over and over again, if we put our mind to something, we can make it work. And so we have the confidence in ourselves that we will make this thing great, even if we have no idea how to do it, right? And the worst thing happens is we spend 50,000 Rand and we know exactly what not to do. And so when we do it next time, it will be better, right? So that's the mindset that we're going into this. And then secondly, we are both not experts in ads, right? So, there's a lot of things that are stacking up against us, but we are hinging on how great our product is. And if your product is great, you don't need to sell as hard. And your marketing doesn't have to be the best, right? Because your product will sell itself. I think Jeff Bezos said, right, the goal is to build a product so great that the world can't help themselves but break the door down to get it. And so that's hopefully what we've done, or what we believe we've done. And also, Alex Ramosi says, you first optimize, like volume negates luck. First optimize for volume, then better, and then new. And that's what we're doing right now with the marketing, right? Is let's get it out there. Let's pump some volume, even if it's not the best, because we can't really compare it to anything previously. And then we start focusing on doing better, doing the thing better. And then we start implementing new things. Inspire greatness through action. I think this is going to be my new maxim that I'm going to live by, right? Sort of a life's mission, a core fundamental of my, why I do things. I think it's important to have a maxim
just drawing a line, through all of these great founders, people that have completely changed the trajectory of human nature and their lives, their families' lives. All of these guys had a very strong maxim, a very strong why. The motivator that is the center of all their action. I think, when you become clear on your why do you do things? A lot of things tend to just fall in place in life. And I think inspiring greatness is something that through great work and I've always admired experts in any field, right? Anyone that has, mastered their field of expertise or whatever, right? I've always admired great artists, great sports men or women, right? Entrepreneurs, or good food, right? A great chef, artist, poems, anything that has, in its purest form, mastery, right? I've always admired. But I realized I don't just want to inspire people or inspire greatness, right? The greatness of people. I want to inspire them through becoming my best self, right? Through action. And so I've devoted myself to becoming my best self, if that makes sense. My ideal self. And that's what I think these videos are all about, is documenting that journey, right? Currently, I'm building 2 businesses and I'm taking you guys along for the journey and for the ride. And hopefully, by documenting, I can now serve you by giving you a, hopefully some lessons, some things that you can take from here that you can now implement in your life and in your businesses, right? So, heading off to the gym, just finished with my walk outside, some sun maxing. Just ate as well before I went for a walk, so the walk aids the digestion. Body's warmed up, got some sun as well, so now heading off to the gym. And also, while I was walking, I was listening to a podcast for that hour on 2 times speed. So it was a 2-hour conversation with David Sendra, the founder of Founders Podcast, and I think it is Conquering the World or something podcast, which also, he's like a historian that also reads all these biographies of founders and conquerors. And a great podcast. And something I took away from that was, once again, be obsessively focused on a singular thing for a consistently long period of time, and you will be successful and great at that thing. Most of us, we don't even give ourselves permission to fulfill our inner purpose because we don't believe it's possible, right? This is 100% a note to myself. When I was younger especially, I always knew I wanted to do what I'm doing right now, but I never could have believed I would end up where I am right now. Like Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, they knew from a young age they're going to be successful, right? But they could never have believed they would be as rich and as loved as they are right now. They said that, right? And these are 2 of the most successful business investors to have ever walked the planet Earth. So if you look at the ones who actually changed the world, they are no different from you and I. They have just decided that it will happen for them, that they will be the exception. If you take Kobe Bryant, at 11 years old, I think his coach asked him, what do you want to do with your life? And he said, I want to play in the NBA. And his coach is like, Kobe, you are crazy. 1 in a million makes it to the NBA. You need to choose something that's more realistic. And Kobe was just like, no, I will be that 1 in a million. Then I will be that 1 in a million. I will be the exception. And I truly believe this to be true, right? The Lord does not choose the qualified. He qualifies the called. And I believe you choose and accept your calling. You need to accept your calling and step into that. Kobe decided he was blessed, right? And that he will be the exception, that he is called to do this. And so he has stepped into that with full belief that it will happen for him. And guess what? It happened, right? Some call this arrogance, some call this faith, some call it delusion. It doesn't really matter what you call it, to be honest with you, but this is obviously needed to get to those places, right? This is delusional optimism, the self-belief that no matter what odds are stacked against you, you know that you will make it happen. And I think, if you look at all the greats, right? It's not the excitement of winning that drives most of these greats. It's the fear of living a life unfulfilled, the fear of failure, the fear of living without meaning or purpose or not becoming great. That's what really drives people. It's not really, the watch, the car, the whatever, maybe to a certain degree. But the majority of true motivational inspiration, even after, achieving those things, right? It comes down to not becoming better. So an update on the campaign and the ads, it's performing really well, and a rough structure that I'm going to explain to you guys as to how the ads are currently running is, we got the front end ads, right? That's generating views. That's leading them to a VSL, that is our free school community. That product we actually want to scale as well. And we are currently growing exponential numbers there because obviously with all the traffic we're driving from the ads. So two things are happening. People are seeing our VSL, which would have been on an external website, but now it's in our community. So people are seeing our VSL, but we're also growing the school community. In the school community, we have free modules, right? Where we essentially show how, well, it's part of our info product, right? But it helps people, it's extremely valuable stuff. And so people that join the product see the quality of our products before they even think about purchasing anything. So it's free value, and that free week that both of Andrea and myself give is more valuable than most people's paid stuff. It's extremely valuable. And so if someone actually goes through that, they are so bought into the product already, right? So we're growing the community, and we are obviously funneling people into a product, right? That leads to a different VSL, that leads to an upsell, a VIP ticket that we are using to liquidate our ad spend. The same with Alex Hormozi with his $100 million money models like event, which is funny, he made $100 million selling that book. So he's a manifestation of what he believes in. But he says, right, create a VIP upsell in the process of your event that helps you liquidate your ad spend. So you're essentially running ads for free. Now, for some other reason, this section is not doing too well, so we're going to have to look at why that is for the next event. It's maybe too early to tell. It's only like 6 days, 5 days into running the ads, right? I think we're running the ads for 3 weeks before the event, which might be too short as well. Yeah, we need to have a look, and maybe we didn't position it correctly or whatever. But after that, they then lead to, we have a free resource that we give every single person, but for them to get access to the event and to book their virtual seat, they need to join the WhatsApp group to get the free resource and also book their seating, right, the spot. And the WhatsApp group is then we will be updating everybody and sharing, updates, follow-up, stuff like that, right? So, yeah, it's going really well so far. It's actually very cool to just sit back and see what's happening, right? And then you think, wow, like this is amazing. This is passive income. This is, but it's delayed 100%. I mean, we've been building this product for a year and 3 months, and we've been building this ad in this entire sales funnel and event for the past 3 months, where we didn't get any income, right? So, people tend to look up, and myself as well, being ignorant to this game. You look at the top of the mountain and be like, yo, these guys are making so much money, passive income. You look at, like, let's say I take 100-meter Olympic sprinter. You see him get the gold medal, like, yo, he's got sponsorships, everyone, oh, he's so cool. You don't see him, and you're ignorant to the work it took to get there, right? Like, that is not the sprinting, right? The actual grafting and the sprinting isn't the 100 meters he did. That's 9 seconds of his life. You know how much he had to, 9 point something, right? You know how much time he had to spend exercising in the dark where no one was watching, early morning, late night, with no glorification, with no, status or anybody glorifying him, right? You know how many hours he had to put in for that 9 seconds of fame or 10 seconds of fame. Same with this business and with the ads, right? If your goal is to get that 19 seconds of fame, you will almost never make it because there's so much friction to get there. And so you need to figure out how do you enjoy this process? How do you get the most out of this thing? What's your why, right? That's why if your why is to make a lot of money, which is, the end goal or whatever, you're probably not going to make it to there because for you to get there's a lot of friction. And so it needs to be a deeper thing. It needs to be a deeper source, which is probably like serving other people, creating a product that will change the world, right? Impact. That has at least been true for my life. And so, product is doing really well. And I think it's going to be a huge success. It's only been a week in. And so I'll keep you guys updated. But as of right now, it looks like it's going to be possible. Right? And it looks like we'll have a R1 million day which is crazy to say, but part of this entire essay that I wrote as well, right, which is, the delusion that creates empires. Crazy to think that I am potentially going to make 1 million rand in one day. 2 years ago, 1 year ago, 6 months ago, that was impossible. And now we are slowly but surely making our way there. And even if we make half of that, are you crazy? So aim for the stars, and even if you miss, you're still up there somewhere, right? That's the thing. Anyways, hope this video served you, and stay tuned for the next one, because then I'll be showcasing you guys, the results of this when the event goes live. So yeah, excited. And if you want to join the event, claim your link down the description in the school community for free. This event will change your life, especially if you're looking at making money online in South Africa. Okay, if that is the goal, this event will change your life. I can guarantee it. See you there. You need to be obsessed with the mission, okay, and the craft of, what you are doing. Okay, the more obsessed you are, the better the results will be. Okay, if you look at all the greats that has ever lived when it comes to entrepreneurship, right? And David Senra's got a good way of explaining what entrepreneurship is, right? It's just like someone who's had an idea and has taken action to manifest that in the world. So it could be, sports people, Hollywood stars, whoever, right? It's not just business owners, but nonetheless, right? You need to be obsessed with your craft. So there's some non-negotiables that I'm not willing to trade for success, right? Which is relationship with my fiance, with my family, and some friends, right? Like, I believe that to be part of a core good life, right? Not just success on a business front, but everything else I'm willing to sacrifice, right? I'm still trying to figure out what does that even mean, right? To sacrifice the thing, because I do enjoy doing certain things, right? But the enjoyment that I get from the impact that my business has on people is more than the things itself that I do on a day-to-day basis, right? So that's why I am able to pursue through the friction that comes with building a business, because it's not necessarily always fun, right? It's not easy. It's difficult. But it always comes down, like, suffering is inevitable in this life, right? But it comes down to, is the thing that you are suffering for worthwhile? You are going to suffer no matter what. The difficult part comes down to consciously decide what to suffer for, right? Because it's difficult to be poor, but it's also difficult to build a great, amazing business, right? There's a lot of trials and tribulations to pursue through. And so I believe it's very difficult to consciously decide to suffer, right? But at least you can now choose what to suffer for. And if you can suffer for the thing that is more valuable than the suffering itself, well, then you got something beautiful. Because believe me, you don't want to come to a situation where you are forced to suffer for something that you do not want to, which is to work for a business or a boss that you don't gel with. They don't really like you. You're not getting paid enough, but yet you need to do it because you have no other way. That is literal hell. So yeah, become obsessed with the thing that you want to pursue. Make sure the core fundamental of that is to serve others, and there's no other way but to succeed. So we're on Lion's Head right now. Look at this beautiful view. Halfway up. It's fairly hot right now. We're going to Three Wise Monkeys. It's a ramen noodle place. But yeah, look at this beautiful view. I don't think people, well, especially us South Africans, we don't really get to, we don't really take in or appreciate the view as much because we're so used to it. But if you went to any other place in the world, you never get a view like this. This is remarkable. Someone that I really look up to in the podcast space, or two people, let's take Chris Williams and let's say David Sendra, right? Both of them have been doing what they've been doing for like 8 years.
Literally around 8 years.
Yeah,
No,
like,
Chris Williamson is he started at 29, he's currently 36, 37, so 8 years.
yeah.
David Senra as well, 7, 8 years. So it usually takes that long before people even see you.
So that's how long it takes, right? And then you hear and you think, oh, fuck, no, like I've never really thought that I would be the exception. Like, oh, I need to get it quicker. But I always thought that success, or the process of becoming successful, will feel a bit more fast paced, right? But if I look back at my life, it is fast paced. It's just like day to day, it doesn't feel that far. Like,
if you have to, this is the thing, right? I think Steve Jobs says this, like day to day, nothing changes, but when you look back, everything changed.
Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, these people, they chose a mission, or in some cases, right, like the mission chose them, and all they did is they were ruthlessly focused and obsessed over that thing for their entire life. And that's what they are known for. That's the kind of irrational obsession and self-belief required to achieve greatness. Every great founder, athlete, creator has had it, the unwavering conviction that they are the exception. I think Henry Ford said it best, right? Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. Belief is the foundation of creation. If you believe you can, you will act in accordance with that belief. But if you believe you can't, you'll rationalize inaction. Both will become self-fulfilling. And so I think there's something I can leave to everyone, and as a note to myself, right, that is what these videos are to a large degree, is that someone will be the exception. It might as well be you. And so I think it's important to give yourself permission to step into your purpose and your prophecy, right? And allow the Lord to bless you. Because I really think He wants us to be great and to step into our ideal selves, right? But we let fear and doubt withhold us from doing so. And so, yeah, I hope this video could serve you. And this was once again a note to myself.